Hi there, welcome to the fourth session on programming for analytics in R. So today we're going to deal with data types in R. The last three sessions you must have actually seen with respect to introduction to R programming, how to install R in R Studio, and finally how to declare simple variables in R. If you have not seen those three sessions, please go and watch those three sessions. I'll put the description of those three sessions in the description box. So in this session, I am going to take you through how to declare variables in R. And one point which I want to tell you in the beginning of the session is, watch this session till the end, because you have some interesting news at the end which I am going to give you. And second, I am going to share you some interesting facts about R in the middle portion of this particular training session. So keep watching and keep enjoying this R programming session with me. So let's get started. Now let's go to our R editor now. Okay, now I am in the R Studio. So first let me tell you one thing. Before we actually do any kind of programming, we need to understand how to give comments in R. See, comment is a very important section in a programming. So first and foremost, we shall see how to give comment in R. There are two types of comments. One is called a single line comment and the second one is called as a multi-line comment. So in order to give a single line comment in R, I make use of the hash key. So I'll say hash, say comment in R. So this is how I give a comment in R. So just let me clear my console. Okay, now my console is clear. Now the next thing is, how do I give multi-line comments? Always remember, you cannot give multi-line comments in R just like how you do it in C. So in C programming, you say something like, slash star and star slash. That's how you give multi-line comment in C. But in R, it's not that straightforward. In order to give a multi-line comment, you have to do something like this. So I'll just show you now. So what I can do is I can use a simple if condition. So I can say if. Then I can make use of one logical operator called as false. Then I can open the if block. Then I can put my multi-line comment, whether it could be in a single quote or it could be in a double quote. For example, I'm going to say this is my, say, multi-line comment. Okay, I can also take it to the next line. So this is my second line of comment. So this is how I give multi-line comments in R. Now coming to the data types in R. See, in the previous session I told you about variables, right? So what are variables? So you know what variables are. Basically they hold a value. But I told you in the last class that in R, exclusively in R, any variable is treated as an object. So we should understand what is this concept of objects as variables in R. So we know how to declare a variable in R. So that's a way to declare is very simple. So I will say something like A is equal to 10. Now when I say A is equal to 10, what does it mean? The value called 10 is assigned to a variable called A. Now we call this as an object A. Now the object is basically holding a value called 10. Now just hold on. When I say what is an object, you all know that in object-oriented programming, any object actually belongs to a particular class. So this particular variable called A, which is also treated as an object, also belongs to a particular class. So let's see how to print that particular class now. So what I can do is, first I'll print the value of A. Now when I print the value of A and when I run this line of code, now you can see that the value of A is being coming as 10 here. So actually this if condition is also being printed. So I'll just run these two lines of code. So you can see that the 10 is being printed on my console. So the comments are also getting printed. Now I want to find out this particular variable belongs to which class. Now that is my point of importance. So in order to do that, I am going to use one particular function called as an class function. So how do I make use of a class function? So I'll say print class of A. So when I say print class of A, you can see that it is giving me the output as numeric. So what does this actually signify? It signifies that this particular variable or an object belongs to a numeric class. Now this is the first data type of your R. The first data type is called as a numeric data type. Now what is a numeric data type? One thing you need to know, whenever you define a data type as numeric, what does that actually mean? It actually means that it can either hold an integer value or a floating value or a double value as such. Now there's a difference between an numeric data type and an integer data type in R. Now you have understood the meaning of a class function. So the class function basically tells me that this object A belongs to a class called a numeric class. Okay, great. Now there's another function which is very important, which I'm going to show you now, and that function is actually called as a type of function. So we shall see what is the meaning of a type of function. So what I'm going to do is, now I'll say print, I will use a function called type of, I'll say type of A. So when I use this particular function called type of A and run this particular code, now you can see that you are getting the output as double. So what does this actually mean? This means that A is being stored as a double data type inside your memory. So just understand, so when I say A is equal to 10, that value 10 belongs to a class called a numeric class, and it is the storage type as a double type. So this is one thing you need to understand in R. So the first data type you learned is called as a numeric data type. Okay, now hold on. Now what is that I need to do when I want to actually get an integer value? Now that's a very important thing you need to know in R. Now when I say A is equal to 10, though 10 looks like an integer number, so what happens when I give a decimal value? So I'll say something like A is equal to something like 10.0. When I say A is equal to 10.0 and when I try to print, say, the class of A, so you see what happens. I'm just going to run this command, A is equal to 10.0, and try to print the class of A. Even then it is showing me as numeric. So the numeric data type basically will hold both the integer value as well as the decimal value. Now suppose if I want only an integer value to be stored in my object. So what I can do, so here is the answer to that. I will say B is equal to, say, something like 89, and I'm going to give an L here. So when I give an L here, it means that I am specifying R that I am going to store only an integer value. So let us run this line of code. Now after running this line of code, now when I try to print the value of B, so I'm going to get the value of B as 89. Great, we are getting the output. Now we are going to try and see what is the class of this particular B. So I'll say print, then class of B. So when I say print class of B, you see what output I'm getting. I'm getting this as integer. So that means this is an of the type integer class. So whenever I use L, it belongs to a class of an integer class. Now I want to find out the data storage of this particular B object which I have declared. So you know the function now. I will say print, I'll say print type of B. So when I say print type of B, and when I run this, so you can see that it is showing up the type integer. So it is, that means the class is also of the type integer and the storage is also of the type integer. So you have studied two data types now. One is your numeric data type where the object is of the type numeric, the class is also of the type numeric, and the storage is of the type double. And in case of an integer, the class is of the type integer and the storage is also of the type integer. Great. Now coming to the third data type in R, what we call it as a character data type. Suppose if I want to store characters or if I want to store strings, you know how to store characters and strings in other programming languages like C and C++. I'll show you how to do it in R. Suppose if I say something like answer is equal to Y. Now you know that I am storing a character called Y in a variable called as an answer. So this answer is also an object. Now we want to find out this particular object belongs to which class. So in order to do that, I can simply say print class of answer. So when I say print class of answer, so let me run these two lines of code. So you can see that it says it is of the type character. Okay, let me clear the console so that things becomes very clear now. So I'm going to delete this little bit of if condition output which is coming in the previous line. So now I'm going to run this. Now you can see that answer is equal to y, and print class of answer is going to give me as a type character. Now let us try and find out this particular character is stored as a what data type inside your memory. So you have to make use of the type of function. So I'll say I'll go to the script window here. So whatever you have to give the command, you can give it in the script window. I'll say print, say type of answer. So when I say print type of answer, you can see that you are going to get the data type as character. So that means this particular answer is an object of the character class, and the storage is also of the type character. Okay. Now what will happen if I want to give a string? Now that is also very important. Now I will use another variable, say called result. I will say result is equal to, so I will say yes. So when I say yes, I am giving a string value to this particular variable called as result. So I will try to print this class of result, and I will also try and print the type of result. So use this function called type of and try to print result. So when I run these three commands now, that is line number 20, 21 and 22 at one go, so you can see that it shows this as character and character. So that means there is no string data type in R. So that means even the string value is treated as an character. So now you have learned three data types in R. One is a numeric data type, and second one is an integer data type, and third one is as a character data type. Now there's another interesting data type in R which is generally not available in C programming language, that is called as a complex data type. See, what is this complex data type? We use this complex data type quite often in data science. So how do you write a complex data type? It looks like a complex number in mathematics. Now how do I define a complex number? Something like this. So I'll say number is equal to say 2 plus 4i. Now this is an example of a complex number. So I'm going to print the value of number. So let us run these two lines of code. So I'm going to run these two lines of code. You can see that 2 plus 4i is coming as an output. But now how do I know the class of this particular object called num? So simple, you know the function now. I'll say print class of num. So when I print class of num, you can see that it belongs to a class called complex. And I want to know the data storage, how it is being stored. So you know the function print say type of num. So when I say print type of num, so it's going to tell me that it belongs to a data type of complex type. So that means the complex number or the complex object basically belongs to a class called complex. Now the last data type you have in R is called as a logical data type. Now you know what a logical data type is. It is nothing but true or false. No difference in R. I can create a logical data type in R as well. Let's see how to do that. So I will say something like say j is equal to true. I'm going to give the value of true to an object called j. Let's print the value of j. So I can say print j. So let's execute these two lines of codes now. Now you can see that true is getting printed in your console. Okay, now let's get the class of this particular object. So I'll say print class of j. So when I say print class of j, you can see that it shows that it belongs to a logical class. It belongs to a logical class. Now before I actually tell you the storage of this particular object called j, let me tell you a fact in R. So let us see what is today's interesting fact in R. So in every session I'm going to give you some interesting facts in R. Let us go to my fact section and see what I have in store for you today. Okay, that's my interesting fact today. What is that? R has more than 2 million users as of today. Remember, this is a very interesting fact in R. See, the growth of R is being exponential for the last 6-7 years. Today we have around 2 million users in R, and R is predominantly used in various applications in data science. So you're going to be one of them, and you're going to also be an R programmer after you finish this particular course. So keep going. That's a nice show from all of you. So let's get back to our R studio once again. Great. So now I want to tell you, how do I find out the storage of this particular variable called j? Now to recapitulate, what we did was we declared an object called j and assigned an logical value to it. That is true. I printed the value of j. I found out the class of this particular object called j. Now let's find the type of j. So I'll say print type of j. So when I say print type of j, it is showing to show me that it's going to store it as a logical data type. Okay, so now you have understood how to basically use the different data types in R. Okay, now you have understood how to basically create various data types in R. We know that in R, every data or every variable what you clear is nothing but an object. And you also came to know that this particular object belongs to a particular class. Great. Now, one more important thing you must have observed in this particular class today, what I was trying to show you, that you don't have to really specify the data type in R. Unlike C programming language, you say integer a is equal to 10, float b is equal to 20.5. You don't have to really specify the data type. So data type gets automatically assigned during the runtime. This is what we call it as, loosely typed language or dynamic assignment of data type. This is one of the important features in R. Unlike other programming languages like C and C++, where you have to basically specify the data type and then you have to specify the variable and the value. So R is quite different. That's where R stands different. Now, having understood the various data types, so let me tell you what are the various data types in R. So you have a numeric data type, then you have an integer data type, you have a complex data type, you have a character data type, and you have a logical data type. So these are the various data types in R, and all these data, whatever variables you create, they all belong to a class. They're all called as objects and they belong to a particular class. So I had promised you something different, something you're going to get at the end of the session. Now it's a time to reveal that particular promise. So what I want to do is, I want all of you to actually send me your email IDs in the comment box. Now what is it you're going to get if you do that? Very simple. I'm going to send you the notes on this particular topic, whatever I've covered so far. So whatever I've covered so far, the notes of this particular topic will be emailed to you. That's my promise. I will keep up to my commitment. All you have to do is, you have to write down your email ID and put a line stating that I would request you to actually send me the notes, or whatever sentence you want to frame. You can always frame and send me the comments in the comment section. Okay. Now, if you have really liked this particular session, I would want you to put a thumbs up, and I would want you to subscribe to my channel so that I'll keep giving you more and more lectures in the future, and ensure that you also share it with your friends. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please ask that in the comment section. I will answer it as and when I find time. So hey guys, thank you so much for being with me in this particular session. I will see you in my next session. Till then, take care and bye-bye.